Okay. Okay. So today we are going to talk about 12 weeks a year. This is something that I have been practicing for quite some time. And I teach this in my Gravitas Wins course and so on and so forth. So I thought probably, and also this is the 12th session that I'm having on the Gravitas Win show. So I thought probably this is a right time and right opportunity to talk about this. And I want to thank all of you, to come in at this particular point in time. Just give me a minute. It seems like it is not working. Oops. Just give me a minute. I thought I had just give me a minute, please, all of you. I'm sorry for this. All of you can hear me properly?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can.
You are audible to me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just okay, I will do it later. Hey, Rishabh, thanks for joining in. Okay, so we are talking about 12 weeks a year, 12 weeks a year. Now, first thing is, can you tell me if annual planning works? I'm sure all of you do New Year resolutions, whether it is in your office or for your own. You might be doing annual planning, New Year resolutions, whatnot. Like, I mean, we all do this, right? Like, I mean, we need to, I think one of the most popular one is I want to lose weight, right? Probably some people will have, I want to get a new job. Those are the two very popular ones that we have. How many of you have been able to keep up? I know this, the last 2 years, it has completely messed up, but leave that. Otherwise, how many of you have been able to keep up with your annual plan? Put it in chat. I mean, how many have been able to keep up with your annual planning? And if you're not been able to do it, why do you think you're not been able to do it? Can you put it on the chat? Why? The first one, have you been able to keep up with your annual planning, whatever your New Year resolution or long-term planning and everything? Or if you're not been able to do it, why do you think you can't do that? Okay, so it's very good, right? We are not able to keep it because we start in January. When we come to February and March, we have forgotten about it. We see, there is no reinforcement. It is not there. And as people say, out of sight is out of mind. It is there. It's all fine. I mean, we did that, but it is not in our mind. As Sukhinder says, yes, annual plan ends the moment the next month starts. Like, some people even forget it in 20 days, right? Yes, Abhay. We don't allocate time to new goals. Absolutely. We don't. Why is that? Abhay, that's a good point. We don't allocate time to new goals. Why is that we are not able to allocate time? I'm sure all of us really, really want to do that. We want to lose weight. We want to get a new job. We want to write that blog post. We want to start something new. We do that. We honestly want to do it. I'm sure most of you want to do it. You really want to do it. But why is that we are not able to do that? Okay.
Because
yeah.
Because Joseph, I think one of the major reasons is we are not ready to leave anything what we are currently doing. So we are stuck in that same cycle. We want to have new things coming our way, but we're not ready to leave anything what we're doing currently.
Absolutely. So we are carrying the baggage all the time. Like, we're putting everything and then we don't want to remove things from that particular bag, and then we can only carry so much, and then we can't do anything further, right? And then as we grow, our challenges also grows. So say, for example, every year, before I got married, my challenges were different, my expectations were different. After I got married, what is expected out of me was different. After I became a father, it is different. But then we continue to carry through everything that we are doing, and we're not able to drop anything, right? So that's a good point. Yes. Sajal, yes, lack of consistency. We can't do this on a regular basis. Very, very, very valid point. Discipline and accountability, right? So we are not able to do it. But tell me, have you stopped doing annual planning? Like, say, for example, all of us are at least about, I'm assuming, 25, 30 years old, right? And so probably about at least for 10 years by now, you would be doing annual planning. Every year you fail, but have you stopped doing annual planning? Have you stopped having New Year resolutions or your birthday resolutions? Or we now have way too many New Years, I mean, Kannada New Year, Tamil New Year, and so on and so forth. So in those things also, yes, it has become a kind of a ritual that we are doing it, right? And that's the point. Like, I mean, we know that it doesn't work, but we continue to do it. And this is what Albert Einstein said, and I'm sure all of you know this. We do the same thing. We plan, we say, okay, fine, this year, 2020 is going to be different. 2021 is going to be different. Whatever, like now 1990 is different. Whatever that it is, and we set up the same goal, we don't change anything else, but we expect different results. How can the different results come? If we are doing the same thing over and over, how can different results come? It can't come. So we need to do something differently. Our perspective has to change. Otherwise, as Einstein says, we are all insane people to expect the same, to do the same thing, but expect a different results, right? The first thing that you need to have is a different view of time, not 12 months. It is like, it brings in a complacence in us. It brings a lazy feeling. Oh, I mean, I need to lose weight. I need to lose only 5 kilos. I only need to write the book. It's only 100 pages. I can write tomorrow. I can do that later. 12 months is there. I can do it, right? It's the same thing that happens in our projects. When the schedule is there, we know that we can achieve it. We are kind of, lazy. Chalta. It's okay. We can do that, right? Now, we need a different view of time. We cannot plan for 12 months because there are so many variables which we can't even see, which are in the dark. We don't even know what's going to happen. Forget about incidences like COVID, which hits probably once in 100 years. Even other years, we just don't know what is going to happen after a certain period of time, right? So we need a different perspective of time. So the way that I've been working on, and the way this again, I had it from a book called 12 Weeks a Year, is that first thing, have an aspirational goal. Maybe it is 3 years, maybe 5 years, not longer term goals. Okay. And I will tell you, you might come in and ask, Joseph, Jeff Bezos says we need to think long term. Yes, definitely. There's a catch in it. But then think about 3 to 5 years, because almost everything changes. The technology changes. In probably like 2000, none of the things that we are using today was existing. Uber, Android phone, none of those things were existing. Bitcoin, none of those things were existing. In 10 to 20 years, the whole technology changes, which means we'll have to revisit what we wanted to achieve in a longer term. So it cannot be the same thing that we want to achieve. So, but if you have about 3 to 5 years horizon and then say, okay, you know what, in 3 to 5 years, this if I achieve, that would be good. But do not break it down into 1 year, but come down to next to 12 weeks. We call it as 90-day plan, quarterly plan, or a 12-week plan. In the Gravitas Wins course that I teach, I talk about quarterly plan, but the concept is the same. It is 12 weeks. That's all I have. That is my sprint. That is the time that I'm going to focus to do what I'm going to do. And then when I have the 12-week, then again, I'm breaking down into weekly goals. This week, what I want to achieve out of that 12-week. So there's a larger picture of the aspirational goal. That comes down to, okay, this quarter, what can I achieve? And then in this particular week, what can I achieve? So that is how we are looking at. That's the view that you need to have of the time. Now, once you have it, okay, so now I have this, right? And we will talk about how you can build the aspirational goal. If you have been a regular attendee to this particular sessions, we did talk about it in the future cast. We are, I will talk about it for a little while. But first thing is you make an aspirational goal. Okay, this is about different perspective of time. You have made it. But you also need a different system of execution. One is your goal setting. One is your perspective of the time. One is what you aspire. That's one. But then you have to have instill a different system of execution. So you plan and you have to do. Where we fail is that we are not doing. That's one failure. Second failure is we do not review at all. There is no feedback. This is the main problem with annual planning, is that there is no feedback coming into our system, into us to say whether we are progressing, we are not progressing. That is not coming in. The feedback is not coming back. Let's say, for example, you are driving a car and then you apply gas and there is a gap between the time you are applying the gas and it speeds up, or the time that you are applying brake and then it stops. Think about it. What will happen? If it is 5 minutes, 15 minutes gap, what will happen to your car? What will happen to your driving skills? That is exactly what is happening. Today, I do something, I don't have a feedback. I'm not reviewing it at all. I don't know how to measure it. So in the system of execution that I follow and what I teach, one, you need to have an experimentation mindset, because you have to start before you are ready. You can't wait for all the information to come. So 12 weeks back, when I started the show, I wasn't ready. I didn't know about facilitating a group, using a live webinar. I have taken certain sessions offline, and of course, I was a CTO. I am a CTO. So I can kind of have a control because I have an authority, but on an online system where everybody is coming in, I don't know how to do it. That's one. I didn't know what kind of topics I should choose. So it is an experimentation mindset. Okay, I'm going to do this. If it works, I will do it more. If it doesn't work, I'm going to get certain kind of a feedback and I will calibrate. That's the next one. So it's an experimentation mindset. I'm going to do something. It is not that you are starting when you are zero. You are starting before you are ready. You're not waiting for all the information to come in. Because if I ask one of you to say, hey, can you give me feedback? What will you give me feedback on? So, but if I tell you, this happened last week. I sent out a newsletter. I formed a new design. Then I asked Sumit and few other people, hey, can you give me a feedback on my newsletter? Now, say, for example, I didn't send any newsletter. It's all in my mind. And I asked Sumit, hey, you know what? I'm planning to start a newsletter. Can you give me feedback? He can't. There is nothing concrete for him to give me feedback. But if I give him something and then say, can you give me feedback? Then he can give me feedback and then I can calibrate whatever that I'm doing, whether it is a newsletter, whether it is a Grab It Husband show, or it's a course, or it's whatever thesis that you are writing, any of those things you put in. First draft, it's an experimentation, get feedback, and then you can calibrate. And then you are iterating. Okay, after the calibration, you do the next one. And the last point in that, the system of execution is having accountability. We fail largely because, see, none of us are saying, okay, you know what? I am okay not to lose weight. It is okay that I don't look for a job. It is okay I don't build a skill. It is okay I am I'm not gaining entrance. I'm not writing the entrance exam to wherever that I want to do. we don't hold ourselves accountable. And we can't hold ourselves accountable. We need people who will hold us accountable. As a matter of fact, when I started this Gravitas Wins course, not the show, the course, I knew it was the start of the COVID period that I will not sit and work because I will think about so many things. I will research, I will waste time. So I asked a good friend of mine, and he's a life coach. I asked him, can you be my accountability partner? So every Monday, 11 to 12, I have to report back, and he is not a guy who is kind of take my bullshit. Oh, I was busy with this, I was busy with that kind of a thing. He will call me out. So I had to actually do that. And without his help, I don't think I would have done Gravitas Wins course or Gravitas Wins show also subsequently. So you need people who will hold you accountable, not just you. You cannot hold yourself accountable, however proactive you are, but you need people who will hold you accountable. So this is the system of execution that comes after the perspective of the time that you have. You need to do you need to have an experimentation mindset. You need to calibrate after getting feedback, and you need to iterate, and you need a group of people or one person to hold you accountable. Only then you will be able to proceed further on it. Now, this is like a high level overview. I'm going to go into the deeper into this. In between, do you have any questions? If any of you have any questions, let me know. Any questions so far? Okay. I hope all of you are there, and I'm not speaking completely to vacuum.
Going great.
No, you're not.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so we need a different perspective of time, and we need a different system of execution. Now, how can I form an aspirational goal? I don't know how to form an aspirational goal. So we talked about this in the future cast. If for people who have not attended it, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can find it. Or you can go to my jeju.com/GW show. All the earlier episodes are listed out there. But for a short period, if I were to say, if I am, say, for example, 30, and if I stretch it out to 3 years, that's the middle line, the central line that we are having here, which is no other external events are happening. What will happen? Just I extrapolate it. I stretch it out. When I stretch it out, what's going to happen? If I'm 30, in 5 years, I'll become 35. If I'm 50, I'll become 55. And my son, say, for example, he is 12 years old. In 5 years, he'll become 17, which means he will finish his school, which means I need to look for his college, which means I need to have money for his college. So that's the first thing, right? I mean, then what I've been saying is, say, for example, I say, okay, I'm going to send him to a private school, private college. That means probably I need 10 lakhs. I'm just making it up. I don't know. I've not done that search. Probably then I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I need to have the 10 lakhs with me if I have to send my son to X and Y college. This is no other external event that has happened. The plausible one is, can I do something which is within my own control? Can I do something there? That's a plausible one. Then there is an external event that is happening. If this were to happen, how can you do that? What are the legal changes that are happening in the country or around the world? Say, for example, data governance is something that all the countries are bringing in. What are the political changes that are happening? Across the world, we are seeing the rise of nationalism. What kind of an impact it will have? What kind of technological changes are happening? Like now, this blockchain is coming in, and then NFT is coming in. So what kind of so when you combine these external elements, which I call it as pestle, political, economical, and social, technological, and environmental, and legal. This changes, what are all the changes that are happening and what impact it will have on you. If you can do that, if you can think about it, then you are saying, okay, if the world is going to look like this, we are building multiple futures here. We are not saying this is the future that's going to come. We are saying multiple futures, and I'm going to be prepared for it. In that particular future, how can I position myself, right? So that's possible. In a preposterous one, what we are saying is, can I take 10x action so that whenever that is coming in, I'm not only ready, probably I am leading that. and I'm in that. Say, for example, I'm doing this gravitas wind show. Again, I have certain kind of a idea. I have a certain aspirational goal, and I have started a podcast. I have done this particular exercise, and I'm saying, okay, if this is what I see, then can I place myself in that particular future? And what's the downside if I fail? What's the downside if none of those things happen? Okay, if I build this particular skill, then probably I'm still better off in that particular future than the one that I don't have, right? So that is how you form the aspirational goal. If you want details, two things you can do. The easiest one to do is, the cheaper one to do is, go and see the future cast episode. If you want, you can join Gravitas Winch course where I teach about all of those things and I help you come up with this particular aspirational goal. Okay. But to do this, you cannot do it alone because you will be having a bias. You will think this is what it is. You need a network. See, until the first 10 years of my career, all my group, the network that I had was software engineers, probably South Indians, and all of the male. So what happened? We will only discuss, we'll go for a cup of coffee. What will we discuss? We'll discuss who is giving more money, who is sending somebody to onshore. That's all we were discussing, nothing else, because everybody had the same thing. But now I have movie directors, lawyers, IAS officers, entrepreneurs. Then when I discuss, there is quite a lot of, because there's a multiple dimensions that are coming. Technologists and everybody, there's a multiple dimensions that are coming. So you need network. You need insights. As I said, blockchain and NFT, what kind of an impact it will have? Rishabh, who is here, he always talks about nuclear homes. So what kind of an impact it can have? Say, for example, this kind of a COVID comes in, can we think about building nuclear homes? Again, probably one day I will ask him to talk about it in one of these sessions. So what kind of an insight that you have that can separate you out? And then you need wealth because you need access to this information, access to these people. You need wealth. So you need wins, wealth, insights, network, and self-control to form your aspirational goal. You cannot make it in vacuum. You should be able to send it to people, ask their feedback. Again, I have something called 30% feedback, which is what I use. You can go to my site, jeju.com. You can search for it. 30% feedback. I would have a very vague idea of what's going to happen. I will write it out. I'll send it to people for feedback. And then they will give me, hey, Joseph, this I agree. With this, I think you are mistaken, and so on and so forth. And I will send it to my mentors. I'll send it to people whom I respect, and they will give me feedback. And that's how I make my aspirational goal. And as of now, for the next 3 to 5 years, this is my aspirational goal. Systematically stack skills to generate options to be wealthy. It might be, kind of mouthful, and let me explain what I mean. System. First thing is a system. Rishabh was saying, Joseph, I really appreciate your consistency in doing whatever that you are doing. That's a system. I look at most of these things as a system. If you give an input, there is a bit of a luck. Again, we talked about luck, engineering your luck. But if you continue to do certain things, certain other thing will happen. So I believe in the cause and effect. There are other variables into it. I'm not exactly saying this is the only thing that can happen. There is a variable, external variable, but generally you can do something. So you can affect that particular change. So that's a system. Systematically, I'm doing it. So say, for example, this one, every Thursday, 7 o'clock, I'm here, no matter what. People come in, people are not coming in. I feel like it. As I said, in one of the other one, the first show that I had back pain. I couldn't even walk properly. I had to hold on to my wife to come and sit on the chair. Still, I did that. Systematically stack skills. I'm stacking a skill of online show, online facilitation, creating slides. How do you, whatever that you have, how do you compress that knowledge into about 30 minutes? So I'm stacking a skill in that. So far, I've been only on technology side. Now, how can I do it? Why am I doing it? I want to generate options, not just one job, but can I have multiple options? Why do I want two options? I want to be wealthy. And what is my definition of wealth? My definition of wealth is to be free, not rich, but to be free. Can I have freedom? I only work 3 days a week. That for me is well-being. That for me is the option. So for my next 3 to 5 years, my goal is to stack as many skills as possible so that I can generate options for being wealthy? Can I have multiple streams of revenue? That's my aspirational goal, which I have come from doing this particular exercise. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going. Okay. So once I have this aspirational goal that I have made, then I frame a be, do, have. So you take areas. So on the left side, you have areas. For me, the areas are wealth, insights, network, and self-control. But you can have the roles that you are playing. You might be a son, husband, maybe a technologist, whatever. What are the roles that you have, right? So what are the areas in which you want to improve upon? But in each of those areas, what are your be and do and have? Who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have at the end of that particular period. That 3-year or a 5-year period that we are talking about, the aspirational period that we are talking about. It could even be at the end of 12 weeks. What you want to do, I mean, in 12 weeks, what you should have done, and what you want to be, and what you want to have. This is important because one is about yourself, be. The other one is system of execution. What are you doing? And if you do that, what are you going to have? And there has to be a coherence in this. So in my case on network, I want to be generous. I want to share my ideas. I want to share my knowledge. I want to share what I have done, the way that I'm thinking. I want to be generous about it. Now, I cannot hold this and say, hey, you know what? I want to have 5,000 people whom I can talk to. I can't have that. It does not work. You have to be generous enough. Only then people will respond back to you. You cannot say, I will not share. I will be very withholding. But people have to appreciate me. It is not going to happen. So there has to be a harmony of it. And every week, I make at least 3 calls. I meet 3 new people, or I have certain sessions like this where I'm meeting new people. So I'm interacting with people. So at the end of that 3 years, for me, it is 3 years. End of the 3 years, I want to have 5,000 connections. Right? So now this is a coherent one. Everything ties to this. Now, this also adds up to what is my identity? I want to be a generous person. I want people to know that I'm generous. So that's my identity. But then there's a leading indicator. The leading indicator is every week I am calling 3% or not. So at the end of the week, say for example, for me it is Sunday is when I do a review and we will talk about it. I ask myself, did I make 3 calls? Some weeks I may not, that's okay. But every week, if I don't do it, I'm not going to have 5,000 connections. One fine day, it is not going to happen. So I need to do that every week. So that's the leading indicator. Have I done that? Say, for example, you say, okay, I want to be a freelancer. I want to generate, say, for example, 20 lakhs by the end of 20 lakhs every year. I want to make it. Now, suddenly it's not going to happen. So you need to do certain things. You need to be visible. You need to meet people who will give you your prospective customers. You need to be there where your prospective customers are there. Maybe you have to speak. Maybe you have to write articles. You have to be there. And then you have to send at least 1 or 2 proposals every week if you have to make that money. So you need to do. Then you can think about what you will have. So this you need to have. Now here, in the case of network, it's okay. But in the case of wealth, riches, and materialistic things, probably in the have, you want to be content. But in be and do, you have to be very aspirational. You need to be very ambitious. You can't be relaxed. A lot of people flip that. They want to have a BMW car. They want to have a bungalow. They want to have a big house. They want to have a beach house. But they are not doing and being what they have to. They are not active. Right? So like say, for example, people might say, hey, you know what? I want to lose weight. I want to be fit. I want to look good. Fine. That's a have you want to have. But every day, are you working out? Are you going for some fitness centers? Are you doing it? Are you being active? So without that be and do, you cannot have whatever that you want to have. So that's your identity. There's a leading indicator, and you need to measure that leading indicator. If you're lagging in that leading indicator, your lagging indicator is not going to happen. Say, for example, income. You want to increase your income. You want to have multiple sources of income. You need to do something. Your leading indicator has to be there, right? So that is when it's going to happen. At the end of every period. So I do this every week and every 12 weeks. I do this every quarter or 90 days, however you want to think of, but every 12 weeks and every week I do this. I look back and say, okay, you know what I did well, right? What are the wins and what are the lessons that I learned from it? So say, for example, 12 weeks is getting over now for this Gravitas Win show. So every 12 weeks, I try to build one skill for myself. So now I will go back and write and say this Sunday I'll write, you know what, 12 weeks I have done this. This is good. What are the lessons that I have learned? And it's about marketing, it's about reaching out and so on and so forth. I'll write it. And what are the misses that I had? And what are the lessons in those misses? Did I miss calling people? Say, for example, on networking. Did I miss? Why did I miss? And then so on and so forth. Okay. So that's looking back, but also looking forward. Are there any adjustments that I have to do? Or can I do some kind of a 10x action? Like, say, for example, one of the goals that I have for the next 12 weeks is today there are about 20 people who are joining in. I want to bring it to 50. So then I'm saying that's a 10x action. It is not even double. It is more than double. So that cannot happen if I do what I'm doing. I need to do some kind of a 10x action. I don't know what it is, but I will figure that out. I'll talk to people. I'll figure that out, but I want to do that. Right? So what's the 10x action that I want to do? And as Abhay and everybody else said, see, we keep carrying the baggage all along. You cannot move forward if you are going to continue to carry what is dragging you down. So you need to stop doing this. This, I'm not going to do it. This is okay. So for me, I used to code outside of my work. In my work, I'm a technologist. I work some of the people, Ritesh, Yuvraj and all here. There I'm a technologist. I deal with all the technology problems and code and everything. But I also used to code outside. But now I have seen, if I'm going to take a course, if I'm going to have a podcast, if I'm going to have Gravitas Win show, I just can't code. So there is a fight here now. There is a conflict. If I continue to code, then I can't have this. I cannot stack skills. So either I have to do this or I have to do this. So one of this will have to stop, right? So I will analyze and I will say, okay, fine, this I'm going to stop, right? So this you have to do. Every Sunday, consistently, religiously, I sit and do this. In fact, we do this as a team. All of these people, some of them are here. Sarang, I think, like I mentioned, Sajal is here. So all of us, we sit down on Sunday and we keep each other accountable. Hey, you said this is what you will do. It is not about a have and be. Okay, this is what you said you will do. Have you done that? And again, we in a gentle manner. Again, not being an arrogant, but in a gentle manner, we ask, okay, how can we help? What's the knot that you have? Is there something preventing you? Can we help you? So in one fashion or the other, we ask. Some people might say, I mean, we have discussed this. I want to learn about startup investing. One of the startup is approaching me. Now, how do I know that? So again, we all, this is what we have done. One person said, I want to set up a dental practice for my wife. Again, somebody said, hey, you know what? I know somebody who's running dental practice as a business. He has multiple dental businesses. I can help you. So we are helping each other in doing whatever that we plan to do. That's how we keep each other accountable. Accountability is not only about, hey, have you done this or not? It's about facilitating them to do it, right? And this is one mistake that we managers in office, corporate, we do that. It's like, you're not done it, why you're not done it? But we don't do facilitation. We don't say, hey, how can I help you? When you do that, then there is cohesiveness, there is a bonding, and they want to do it. Okay, if somebody is saying they will introduce me to somebody who is running a lot of dental practices as a business, then I need to be prepared and I will have to go and talk. And then I need to come back and report back to the team and say, hey, I talked to that person, this is what he said, I'm starting, and so on and so forth, right? So we need to keep each other accountable. And accountability is not only about asking why you have not done it, but also facilitating, helping them to do what they are planning to do. Okay, so this is what Tom Peters said, and I completely, subscribe to this. We all talk about excellence. I want to do a fantastic job. Good. Excellence is what you do in the next 5 minutes. it's as simple as that, because we can waste our time. We can have all aspirations that we want, and I talk to a lot of folks, and they will say, Joseph, you know what, I want to do this, I want to do that, and what are you doing? I'm sitting and watching IPL. I'm sitting and binge watching Netflix. How will you achieve your aspirational goals at all? So excellence is what you do next 5 minutes. That is what is excellence. So one of the things that I can tell you is go to LinkedIn, put in, I'm sure Sumit is going to do that, but everybody else also, maybe you can go to LinkedIn and you can summarize whatever that I have talked about, what the lessons that you learned, and so on and so forth. That could be an excellence. You can check out Gravitas Wins course, or you can connect with me and we can talk. Excellence is what you are doing in the next 5 minutes. That is what is important. Okay? Have a life of wins. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. We will discuss now. If you have any questions, we will discuss as always.